Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Joy of Pro Wrestling Network. I'm your host, Mark Ross, and today we are discussing WWE's SummerSlam 2022. This event was held at the Nissan Center in front of 40,000 plus fans in Nashville, Tennessee, home of the Tennessee Titans, where they play football. So it's a jam-packed house for SummerSlam, a very ruckus crowd, very loud crowd, who stayed into the whole event the whole entire time. It turned out to be a great SummerSlam. This SummerSlam event was actually the very first pay-per-view that Vince McMahon did not produce, and the first pay-per-view that Triple H has produced as head of creative. So the very first pay-per-view under Triple H's creative control after, of course, the whole Vince McMahon debacle and Vince McMahon retiring from pro wrestling. So to kick off SummerSlam this year, the first match will be for the Raw Women's title. We have Bianca Belair coming in as champion versus the challenger Becky Lynch. Of course, these two ladies have been feuding for a long while now. Bianca winning her title back at WrestleMania, and Becky Lynch seems to be on a losing streak as of late, but they're sure to have a banger match here, and I'm sure that's why they chose for this match to open up the show. Just because of the fact that usually at the premium live events or pay-per-views or whatever you'd like to call them, usually these two tear down the house. The match starts out at a very fast pace as both of the competitors are going back and forth, move for move. Becky starts working on Bianca's arm. Bianca is able to reverse off of the ropes with the drop kick and face plants Becky into the canvas. Becky was able to land on her shoulder. It looked like a last second decision to do that, or she was about to land very badly on her face or her neck. It didn't look very good. But she, cat-like wrestling instinct, she was able to land on her shoulder and not hurt herself. But Becky escapes the pin attempt and rolls out of the ring. Bianca tries a power slam on the outside barricade, which Becky landed on her feet, and she was able to reverse it. And she was able to whip Bianca into the barricade, followed by a leg drop that she gave Bianca to the back of her neck. Becky then takes Bianca back into the ring for a 2 count. So it's been a great physical back and forth match so far. Really heavy hitting match to start out the SummerSlam pay-per-view. The match continues with Becky in control of the match. Mainly Becky, she's just still working on Bianca's arm to try and get her arm finisher, in preparation. But Becky drop kicks Bianca to the outside apron. She then tries another leg drop off the turnbuckle is what it looked like. But Bianca reversed it. And the fight goes to the outside. Becky catches Bianca's ponytail and they have a tug of war match with her hair. Bianca slings Becky into the turnbuckle, then suplexes her onto the floor. The match returns into the ring as Bianca takes control. I say that, as she took back control of the match, but not for long, really. Neither woman had an advantage in this match. It was going back and forth at a very fast pace. It was back and forth throughout pretty much the whole entire match. But Bianca tries for the KOD. Becky fights back with an armbar maneuver, and Bianca rolls outside of the ring and hits the KOD on the outside of the ring. So very devastating maneuver by Bianca to Becky on the outside there. The referee then starts counting Becky, and she barely answers the 10 count. The two start fighting on the top rope, and then Becky catches Bianca's hair again. She's able to deliver a manhandle slam for a near fall. The fighting continues and they go back to the corner. Bianca then hits a Spanish fly on Becky into another KOD for the 3 count. So Bianca retains and wins and defeats Becky again and retains her Raw Women's Championship belt. So Becky gets up and she extends her hand to Bianca, and Bianca's just kind of like, "Are you serious? Or can I trust you?" But she extends her hand, and then they shake hands, and then they kind of they have a embrace inside the ring, and it was kind of a little touching moment there. But that moment that they had became short-lived as Bayley comes down to the ring. So Bayley makes her return, only she's brought some company. So it looks like Bayley's coming back with a faction here. Dakota Kai and Io Shirai, which haven't seen these two women, I guess, in a while. Not too crazy familiar with either one of them, but looks like they're on the main stage for sure right now here at SummerSlam. So Bayley comes down with Dakota Kai and Shirai, and they get in the ring and start threatening Bianca. And Becky comes to Bianca's aid. So this is this turned out to be a great babyface turn here for Becky. And when you're turning a heel like Becky Lynch into a babyface, you got to make it good, and you've got to write a good story, and they couldn't have wrote this any better. So great babyface turn for Becky tonight. That's how you do it, That's how you writing a good show here for the first match of SummerSlam. So I'm digging it so far. So the next match. Actually, before we start on the next match, I'd like to make a couple comments, observations that I've seen since the departure of Vince McMahon and the creative takeover of Triple H. It seems like the winds of, you can slowly start to feel the winds of change. Not, just only in subtle ways, but with things like Dakota Kai and Io Shirai coming back. It's like maybe he's getting back what he lost, when he lost his power in NXT, and he, all that talent got released or, got moved around or totally changed, and now it's like he's got his people back, he's got his crew back, and he has the authority to be allowed to, take over and do a good job, and make wrestling great again. And so honestly, I think it'll be a while before it feels different, but I believe the winds of change are really blowing, and change is really in the air for WWE as far as talent and the way that talent will be used in the future. So I believe with the creative control of Triple H, with having control of creative, I think that the show will gradually get better. Okay, so moving on to match number 2, we got Logan Paul versus The Miz. So of course The Miz double-crossed Logan Paul back at WrestleMania, when they were celebrating together in the ring. They were holding each other's hands up, and then Miz double-crossed him, and backstabbed him. So Logan Paul's getting his revenge on The Miz, and as this match goes on, you'll see that the hatred for The Miz really comes out in Logan Paul. He's very stiff in this match. He gives the Miz some really good blows. Really physical match here. Miz, of course, comes out with Maurice and Ciampa. You know, he's coming out with backup. You know, he's deep down, he's really scared. You know, he's got them tiny balls. But the match starts out, and both men are trying to one-up each other. And Logan Paul is able to hit an awesome, pun intended, awesome moonsault off of the top rope onto the outside onto the Miz. Logan Paul pulling off some great wrestling maneuvers here. He pulls off a fireman's carry. He did like later on in the match, he did like a running power slam like British Bulldog used to do. He's pulling out all these wrestling moves that he's learned and been taught. But the match returns to the ring. Miz hits a codebreaker type maneuver off of the turnbuckle onto Logan to gain control of the match. And Miz is getting some help from the outside behind the referee's back. But that'll catch up with them later here in the match. My notes say this has become a very stiff physical match between the two. I almost thought Logan Paul was blowing up there for a minute, but he was able to hit a perfect textbook blockbuster. The commentators were really emphasizing that the Miz taught him these maneuvers, you know, really selling that to the audience, doing a really good job, of course. But both men are down. The match continues. Logan Paul gets the Miz in a figure four. The Miz gets to the ropes for the rope break. Logan Paul gets back up and hits a flying crossbody and a backflip for a near fall. Ciampa then gets ejected from ringside for trying to interfere. He refuses to leave, and then AJ Styles music hits. So AJ Styles music starts playing, and AJ comes out from the crowd to fight Ciampa away. So pretty good writing there. You know, AJ Styles, you know, doesn't have a match tonight. You know, give him a reason to come out there. And you'll see a couple other people, you know, going out there and making an appearance and not wrestling, you know, a match. Drew McIntyre will come out later on and speak to the crowd and be a part of the show. But Ciampa gets ejected, and, you know, AJ Styles music hits, and, you know, give AJ Styles something to do, make him run out and, you know, chase Ciampa away. So AJ Styles chases Ciampa away. Then Logan Paul hits what they were calling a phenomenal forearm, but it was really like just kind of like a normal flying forearm. It wasn't really even that pretty. The forearm may not have been phenomenal, but what Logan Paul does next is pretty phenomenal. He hits an amazing frog splash off the top rope onto the Miz from the top rope through the announce table. Now the Miz camp's running out of options. The Miz is laid out, and now Maurice is trying to get involved. Maurice tries to get involved in the match, and, you know, the Miz grabs a foreign object behind the referee. He misses Logan Paul with what he had in his hand, which was like some kind of graded card or picture, golden PSA plated card of some sort. But he misses. He almost hits Maurice with it. And then Miz turns around only to be put in his own skull-crushing finale finisher. Logan Paul puts him in the skull-crushing finale maneuver, and then gets the pinfall, of course. You know, Logan Paul beats him. Awesome ending to a really good match. Another great outing by Logan Paul. Uh, he just seems to impress every time. I hope that his contract entails a lot of dates. I'd like to see him on TV a lot doing that, wrestling. He has a different style too, if you didn't notice, He has almost like a jujitsu karate style, almost kind of like he does like kicks, really quick kicks and uh, fast paced maneuvers, very almost strong style like, almost like a Japanese style, but man, he's doing really good for being a rookie. So Logan Paul gets the win over The Miz with The Miz's own move. So awesome ending to an awesome match. Awesome SummerSlam so far. So now we'll move on to match number 3. Match number 3 for the United States Heavyweight Championship. We have the Money in the Bank briefcase owner, Theory. I'm going to call him Austin Theory if that's okay. Hopefully, with this new regime, Triple H will give some of these wrestlers their names back. Like, give Theory his first name back. I feel dumb just calling him Theory. It's kind of, I don't know. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. Like Tommaso Ciampa, they took away his name too. Now he's just Ciampa. They changed, Butch's name, which Butch is like a whole different character, from Pete Dunne. So I guess I understand that one. But Angel Garza, they messed around with his name. Um, I could go on, but I'll get off of the names. We'll get back to the match here. So match number 3, Theory versus Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley coming in as the United States Heavyweight Champion, and he makes quick waste of Austin Theory here. Austin Theory tries to use his briefcase as a weapon, before the match starts, but that ain't gonna work on him. It just works for it's just temporary damage. You just poking the bear, So the match starts, and it's pretty quick and to the point. Bobby Lashley dominates the whole match, and he gets the W with the Hurt Lock. Austin Theory taps out. So the winner by submission and still your United States Heavyweight Champion, Bobby Lashley. I liked how this show was produced, and I like the flow of this show. Like the matches that really didn't matter, or there wasn't much interest in, they kept it short and to the point. Just like this next match number 4, a no disqualification match against Judgment Day and the Mysterios. I like this match. It had a good flow to it. Everybody was getting their stuff in. It was a great, hard-hitting match, back and forth. Rhea Ripley finally decides to get involved, and then the lights go out. And then Edge makes a really badass triumphant return, Edge comes back looking badass, as badass as ever. Crazy entrance with the Brood music playing. Maybe a different version of it. It was kind of hard to hear. Maybe the crowd was drowning out the music, or I'm not sure. But Edge, he makes his way to the ring and starts spearing the shit out of everybody. He sets up Ray for the 619, and the Mysterios get the win. So awesome return for Edge as he gets some a little bit of taste of revenge against the Judgment Day, a group which he created that kicked him out disgracefully. So lots of good stories on the horizon, or good stories about to pick up here in the WWE. So we move on to match number 5, Pat McAfee versus Happy Corbin. This is a grudge match here. These two just don't like each other. You know, they were football teammates on the Indianapolis Colts back in 2009. Egos, you know, just kind of set these two apart. And so, you know, Happy Corbin's been kind of coming out and picking on him while he's been trying to work on SmackDown. You know, he's trying to call the matches, and he sneaks out behind him and, you know, grabs him and does whatever, you know, and hits him from behind. But Pat McAfee was willing to risk it all in this match. He had a barrage of a lot of daring aerial moves. He was pretty impressive here, but there was a moment in time where he jumped up on the top rope and he was going to do like a dive, and he lost his footing. The commentators, like right before he jumped up, I think Michael Cole was the one that called it, and he said that the ropes were probably slippery from the humidity there in Dallas, or not in Dallas, but in Nashville. But Pat McAfee jumps up on the ropes and he loses his footing, but he was still able to maintain his balance and hit a swanton on Corbin on the outside. Action returned into the ring, and McAfee reversed the end of days move. He knocks Corbin into the referee, and McAfee gets payback from SmackDown while the referee was down. So McAfee was able to get some payback from SmackDown when Corbin cheap shotted him. So McAfee cheap shots Corbin while the referee's down. McAfee low blows Corbin, and he gets him in a pinning hold to get a 3 count. So McAfee beats Happy Corbin. Nothing really too surprising, nothing too exciting. It was a pretty decent outing again from McAfee, and of course Corbin doing the job once again. But we move on. Drew McIntyre comes out. He doesn't have a match, but they give him a segment to go out and talk to the crowd, and he pumps the crowd up and hypes them up and gets them ready for the main event, and give him something to do if he's not on the card. Give him a job to go out there and still be relevant and go out and stand in front of the fans. And so pretty cool little segment there for Drew McIntyre. Next we go to the Undisputed Tag Team Championship match with the special referee Jeff Jarrett. The Usos versus the Street Profits. And the Street Profits, they've had basically chance after chance and match after match to try and defeat the Usos and become tag team champions, and they just seem to never be able to click on all cylinders enough to get the titles. But so we start out, the Street Profits are wearing the Tennessee Titans gear, and the hometown crowd is going hype for the Street Profits. The Usos start out the offensive assault really quick, but Jeff Jarrett is pretty quick to assert his authority. He's letting them know who's boss, and that he's going to call it right down the middle and take no favors. So Jeff Jarrett quickly assessing his authority there and putting his foot down as the Usos were trying to, do some dirty deeds during the first part of the match. But the Usos are in control of the first part of the match. They're working Dawkins over really well, and Dawkins can't make the tag. He's really working that hot tag. Dawkins is finally able to make the tag to Montez Ford. Montez Ford gets into the match, and he turns the offense over to the Street Profits' favor. As the match continues, Dawkins tags back in the match. And once again, when Dawkins gets back in the match, he's getting the beat down from the Usos. So Dawkins is in the ring getting beat down, and only this time Montez Ford is laid out somewhere, unable to make a tag to his partner. So Dawkins is getting beat up as the Usos hit a double splash on Dawkins. Montez Ford is able to break the pin. Then Jeff Jarrett gives them all a 10 count. I believe it was Jimmy. It could have been Jay, but one of them goes for a super kick but almost hits Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett catches his kick and spins him around into the Street Profits. Montez Ford hits a giant frog splash for a near fall. Crowd chants, "This is awesome." Ford starts to yell at Jeff Jarrett about the 3 count, and they start cursing at each other over the count. Jeff Jarrett tells him it was 2. Ford then tries a suicide dive maneuver on the outside, but is kicked in the face by the Usos. Usos once again double team Dawkins in the ring. They super kick him into a 1D, and there you go. Usos get the pin 1, 2, 3 to retain their undisputed tag team titles. Once again, a pretty quick match, straight and to the point. Had some good moments. It was pretty good, decent match. I don't know where the Street Profits go from here. Do they stay a team? Are they aggravated with each other? I know at the beginning of the year I stated that these guys, win or lose, should, without the titles or not, should stay a team. But there seems to be some kind of reason why they just can't get it together. The Usos once again prove that they are the ones to be in that place as tag team champions. Greatest tag team in the WWE, possibly all the world. So arguably, so Usos get the win. They're still the tag team champions, and the undisputed tag team titles stay within the bloodline. After the match, Riddle gets on the mic and calls out Seth Rollins, and then Seth Rollins comes out to give Riddle a curb stomp. This match was canned before the pay-per-view, a few days before SummerSlam. It was set to be Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle, but somebody, whether it be Triple H or whoever, decided that this match shouldn't happen. Maybe it was timing, or it could have been anything. Maybe it just they didn't feel like it was, or they felt like it was too soon to have the match, so they just kind of canned this match. But anyhow, Riddle came out and called Seth Rollins out. They had a little yelling match back and forth. Riddle, I guess they said that Riddle was not able to compete, but he was saying he wanted to fight Rollins anyway. And Rollins gave him what he wanted. He came out and he curb stomped him, and he laughed at him, and he left. So on to the next match for the SmackDown Women's title. Liv Morgan coming in as the champion versus Ronda Rousey. This match was very, very quick. Ronda Rousey comes out just putting on a major wrestling clinic on her with a boatload of submission holds. Just too much for Liv Morgan, but so the two were wrestling back and forth between submission holds, and Ronda finds herself getting pinned during a submission, and she can't get her shoulders up for the 3 count, so she loses. And Liv Morgan is still your SmackDown Women's WWE champion. So Ronda's very upset about this. So of course she attacks Liv once again, and then actually goes after the referee and attacks the referee, and is just having a major come apart in the ring. So Ronda has a heel turn here, which I thought she should have went into the match as a major heel, but it just started out as a competition. But Ronda loses and Liv retains her women's title. Everybody goes home happy. On to the main event for the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship. The challenger Brock Lesnar versus the champion Roman Reigns. Going into this 7, 8, 900 days as champion. Not sure how many days it's been now. He holds both the WWE Championship and the Universal Heavyweight Championship. So once again, these two are battling it out for these belts. So this is going to hopefully be the last match, as this is a last man standing match between the two. Brock comes out, and during his entrance with a tractor. He pulls up in a tractor. He jumps in the bucket on the top loader, and as the ring announcer is announcing his name, Brock Lesnar tells the ring announcer to shut up. So Brock Lesnar introduces himself, and introduces himself as a big-ass country boy weighing in at 285 pounds, here to kick Roman Reigns' ass. Ladies and gentlemen, Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar is just a hoot during this match. He's just coming out, having fun, smiling. But the lack of seriousness of Brock Lesnar is going to have a big impact on the outcome of this match. He should have took Roman Reigns and the bloodline more seriously. But the match starts with Brock in total control, totally destroying Reigns in front of the Nashville crowd. Brock grabs a table, and Heyman begs Lesnar to stop. Lesnar turns around, and Roman suplexes him through the table. He sets up another table and puts Brock through that one. So Lesnar gets put through 2 different tables here by Roman Reigns, and Brock is able to answer the 10 count. The match returns to the ring. Roman hits Brock with a Superman punch and a spear, and Brock is able to get up and answer that 10 count as well. So, nothing can kill Brock and keep him down. Then the match goes back to the outside. Lesnar puts Roman in the top loader bucket and gets back into the tractor. So Lesnar's in the tractor, and he's got Roman in the bucket, and he dumps Roman back into the ring. Wild match right here. Very brutal match as well. It's kind of got some comedy to it, but it is a very violent match here. So after Lesnar dumps Roman into the ring with the tractor, he starts to wear Roman down in the ring with German suplexes. He takes him to Suplex City and then gives him an F5. Roman barely answers the 10 count as the match continues. Lesnar gets in the tractor again as Roman is in the ring. Lesnar picks up the ring, and as Roman's in the ring, he's picking up the ring, totally destroying the ring, and Roman gets dumped out of the ring. The Usos then come to Roman's aid. Brock fights them off, and then Heyman gets in Roman's face, I loved you and blah, blah, blah. And, just take the titles if that's what you want. Don't kill these guys. And then Lesnar's like, oh, hell with you. And he gives Paul Heyman an F5 through the announce table, and the crowd just cannot believe all the destruction that's going on. And if that wasn't enough, here comes Theory with this briefcase to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. But Lesnar quickly F5s him and lays Theory to waste. And then the Usos are able to super kick Lesnar as he turns around from the F5 he just gave to Theory. So after the F5 he gave to Theory, Usos are able to super kick Lesnar. Roman Reigns then spears Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar keeps getting up, so the Bloodline just bury him in the announce tables. And they find everything they can to bury him so he can't get up, and that's how they put Brock Lesnar away. Roman still retains and is still your Universal Heavyweight Champion, undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion. Overall, SummerSlam I thought was a pretty good pay-per-view. It was exciting all the way through. I'm glad that Brock Lesnar didn't defeat Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns is kind of getting a little tiring as the champion. I don't know. I really think he should hold it though for as long as they need him to. As long as there's a good enough person to go up face to face with him besides Brock Lesnar. Hopefully Cody Rhodes when he gets back. But overall, pretty good SummerSlam. Under the new regime, under Triple H's head of control, I would give this pay-per-view maybe a 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. A lot of memorable moments, especially with the tractor and Brock Lesnar. Possibly Brock Lesnar's match for a while. Maybe he wanted to go out with a bang. But I've got to get to work, guys, so I've got to get off of here. Sorry if this video seemed a little rushed, but I was running a little short of time. But if you've made it this far and you have not subscribed, please push the subscribe button to join the Joy of Pro Wrestling Network. Also, we will have a review of Ric Flair's last match, so be sure and catch that. But other than that, I will see you guys on the next one. Have a great day.